What's up, y'all? It's your boy Niner Faithful. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone had a legendary week. Oh boy, we got a lot to get into this week. Hello, Jamie. Hello, Kim. Let's go ahead and bring in the Steve to my Jerry, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Adam. Let me go ahead and add him to the stream. Here we go.
How you doing, sir?
How you doing, brother?
Well, I mean, it's Tuesday. It's 2 days after quite a little of a shocker, to be quite honest, right? And obviously, like you said, we got a lot to get into.
Yeah, obviously we do. So obviously everybody knows, the Niners lost 43-17. My first thoughts of the game, and I'm pretty sure Adam will agree with me, but we'll go ahead and get his thoughts here in a second. My first thoughts of the game were clearly, they circled Brian Allen and said, yeah, we're going to go get at him until the Niners either stop it or they pull him. And unfortunately, and we'll go ahead and get into at least the reasons Kyle stated. And essentially by the time the Niners made that adjustment, it was 30-7. And the vibe at the watch party I was at was when we made it 30-14, it was okay, we're going to come back. But clearly after that next Miami possession, it was pretty clear that it was not our day.
To say the least. And I mean, finally I got around to actually tweeting for the first time in quite a minute while the game was happening. And, it almost seemed like kind of a case of too little, too late. And honestly, I mean, it's not being a faithful. I literally did smell when was the last time we actually kind of stole a game per se? When we actually came back, I mean, I guess the Saints, but I wouldn't say that's like stealing it. That was essentially like kind of like an early shootout. But I can't really recall the last time stealing game. I mean, Cardinals, it just kind of felt like one of those games with the injuries and all that. It would have been very huge to kind of come back and win that. And I am frustrated. Once again, Jimmy Ward and Tarvarius Moore have outside corner experience. You go with a practice squad guy, and I like his intangibles. And don't get me wrong, a couple times, he got beat. He actually has solid coverage. Point still is, we went with a practice squad cornerback that who essentially came off the street to begin with. And you have Tarvarius Moore, who has great build. And once again, I thought he looked actually solid at corner when he was a rookie. Yeah. Even though, once again, he transitioned from free safety. He had a solid game against the Seahawks, for example. Why did he not start, or why did you not shift Jimmy to outside and then you put Moore obviously at free safety? And, to be completely honest, I was thinking about this earlier. Imagine you did put Tarvarius Moore outside. You can even put Jimmy at the slot, actually. And then you can actually slide Jaquiski Tartt or put Marcel Harris at free safety and have those two guys be the safeties. Like, you could have went with experience and people who have been within the system. Once again, Jaquiski Tartt can also play free safety. Marcel Harris can kind of play free safety too. Obviously, I would like Tartt's range there a little more, but we kind of had options in-house. And if you can catch my drift, I almost feel like it's inexcusable to give Brian out. I mean, did he look like a Hall of Famer in practice? I mean, I guess so.
Yeah, that is my biggest question, this week is when we have to me, I understand injuries, and let's be realistic. We're faithful on this show. We like to keep it positive and everything like that, but it gets to a point where the team that, we expect to dominate and the team that went 13-3 is no longer the team on the field. I agree with you, Adam. I mean, that's to me what I would have liked to done. And, I know Jimmy Ward's made a big hissy fit about, playing safety. Well, I don't care. You know what, Jimmy? I really don't give a damn at this point. At this point, all bets are off. And so that's personally what I would like to see. Put Jimmy Ward at slot or outside corner, like you said. Put Tarvarius Moore, who hasn't played that many snaps this season, which I'm really starting to be like, why? Is there something he's not doing in practice? Is there not? And, one of the many times I wish I had a press pass and had the ability to ask Kyle questions, because that would be something that I would ask Kyle straight up. Why have we seen more of Tarvarius Moore? He played fine in the Super Bowl. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, remember in camp, I heard he was actually looking good at slot cornerback as well. Yeah. So I was thinking, fine, leave Ward at free safety. Moore should have played outside cornerback. And then in like nickel packages, I think possibly Jimmy should have went to slot because he's more than capable of playing there. Safeties play slot all the time. And then put in Marcel Harris. You could have went with experience. And I just don't understand the maneuver. Back to your Moore point, yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe he is a guy, I don't know, he's kind of a soft-spoken guy. So maybe he kind of is down the fact that, I feel like they re-signed Jimmy Ward. So right now, I bet Moore was feeling like, like what's the next step for me? And when we could have given an opportunity to play outside, I mean, Moore should have been taking all the outside cornerback snaps, in my opinion, during practice. Unless he said no. I mean, come on, is he going to say no? Especially if you're begging for playing time, that would have been at least an opportunity to get on the field, correct?
If Travarius, if the coaching staff said, hey, T. Moore, do you want to try outside corner? And he said no, well, then you don't want to get on the football field that damn bad.
Right,
and we have other issues to deal with. We have other issues to deal with than with Travarius Moore, who both you and I are high on. And honestly think that honestly Travarius Moore is now, at least last season, we think just Travarius Moore is the answer at the future at free safety or outside. I mean, he has a role in the secondary going forward. Another concern that I had, and we're going to kind of take a longer viewpoint of this show. What disappointed me was the offense. Because to me, this is what we've been waiting for. We had Raheem back. We had Jimmy back. We had Debo. We had Brandon Ayuk. We had Kittle Corn. Pretty much essentially the only persons we were really missing was Jordan Reed, who I believe will be back after the bye week. And, Weston Richburg, who is from all accounts on schedule to come back after, matter of fact, after this game. I believe the first game he is eligible to be back is week 7 against New England. So we should hear more about that. But that was the disappointment I had. The run game looked amazing. I think that was very, very clear with the little bits of struggles we had against the Eagles. I think it was very clear that was just – and as much as we love him, we know that Jerick McKinnon is not an every down back. And so as much as we love, Jet on the show and everything like that, we like to slide him into his proper role, which is a third down back. Real quick, before we continue on the show, I messed up. I promise. Friday I will. But big shout out to my boy Jesse, who, let's put it this way, is possibly working on us getting Kendrick Bourne on the show. Nice. I'll explain that to you later, bro. But
that's a different.
I will be rocking the Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne.
What's up with him? Hey, he didn't have the greatest game. Looks like we also lost TJ for a second, so I guess I'll take over the reins for a moment. Once again, anybody who is out there, anybody who's going to futurely watch a show and stream it, obviously very much appreciated. As we're kind of getting going into the curveball of the season so far. 2-3. I said kind of going into the game. I mean, it kind of almost felt like a little bit do or die, and I think it's going to be. I guess it's not going to be ultimate do or die. I mean, because 2-3, and obviously I think the Rams is going to be a huge game. We've got to upset them just to go to 500 again. 2-4 is not going to be looking very pretty. But yet again, it's it would be 4 losses. It would be 4 losses at the end of the day. So I guess it's not technically a do or die. There goes the man again. I was bringing up the point. I was like, I felt like the Dolphins game was kind of a do or die. And I think games are going to be essentially low-key do or die. Obviously, I'm prepared to possibly lose, but I think it's a huge, almost must-win game to put it at 500, get some good juju coming back. 2-4 wouldn't be the end of the world. It is 4 losses. It doesn't look cute. But back on point about quarterback. So what happened with Akilo now that we went over the Moore thing? Akilo didn't start.
Yeah, of course.
He sucked it up. Like, why don't you suck it up to begin with? And if you get burnt, then we go to other options.
So from what I heard is Akilo had gotten progressively worse during the week. You can go ahead and listen to Good Morning Niner Empire, done by our own very own Jamie Sobolski every morning to go ahead and recap all Shanahan's press conferences. But and essentially on Thursday, they had made the decision to start Brian Allen, and Akello came up to him on game day and said, "Hey, I'm available for emergencies." I'm with you. I haven't listened to the full interview, but I've seen it about how Dante Hittner was not very kind to Akello this week, and that was my biggest question.
Entire defense.
Yeah, he let in, and they deserved it. And
more so Saleh, I agree too. I mean, Saleh needs to act up. Yeah, he needs to Shanahan what he thinks is best.
This is the thing about Robert Saleh is Eric Davis on the Believe in 49ers podcast has been talking about how Jason Garrett, and he brought up Jason Garrett as a coach and how Jason Garrett needs his stars to win. Jason Garrett can't win without his top-notch players. And what he was challenging to see out of Robert Saleh, especially since, let's be real, this year is his resume as a head coach. This year is him trying to put on film, hey, I'm ready to be a head coach. I can scheme up my defense. I can, do what's necessary. I need him to see him make an adjustment. 3rd and 22 or essentially 3rd and goal from the 22, but essentially 3rd and 22. You leave him on one-on-one coverage. I'm putting that on coaching because at some point, a player is who he is. Brian Allen is who he is. That's not a knock on a brother. He's still more athletic. He has more athletic in one pinky toe than I have in my whole body. But at some point in time, bro, it's clear you are not a starting caliber player. So we need to help you. And that's where I'm looking at the coaching staff. I'm like, there's just no type of scheme. No, we obviously know there is, but there's just nothing. Like everybody in the stadium knew that that's where they were going to go. There's no way Robert Saleh did. So I'm putting this on the coaching. I'm putting this mostly on the coaching because, yes, injuries, that's fine. But we heard you brag about our depth, Kyle. We heard you brag about how this wasn't 2018, how we were better capable of handling these injuries. Now, I will say this. We did not expect any player on the practice squad to be starting cornerback. So I will give the coaching staff some credit on that. But go ahead.
I was telling people at the bar, though, I was like, why is a guy who's drinking, watching it at home, we make fun of all the time, armchair GM, armchair quarterback, and like all that BS, armchair coaching. And I was like, how do I come up with these in my opinion, more than fair ideas of how you could have shuffled things around. When your starting center gets hurt, you put essentially the next best man in position to go ahead and do so. Yeah, he might give up a little height advantage, but he would probably be better off than the third string center, for example, because that's the tallest guy you have. Like, you could have shuffled some things around and made it work. And then if it doesn't, then you go to the next guy, but you figured you would go with more experience of a guy first. Once again, put Tarvarius Moore outside cornerback. During nickel situations, put Jimmy in there and then give Marcel Harris a chance, who's no slouch, before you're forced to make a move like Brian Allen. So that was kind of like my thing. And obviously, too, we do know about the injuries, but like I said, there was things you could have done beforehand. And I brought this up to the people at the bar, too. I also think Brian Flores, obviously, who used to be under Bill Belichick, he kind of knew Kyle Shanahan very well. Obviously, he played against him in the Super Bowl. So I think he kind of already had a little of the blueprint to kind of how to beat him. But Kyle Shanahan, once again, you're supposed to be that genius. He was up 28-3 to Super Bowl against the Patriots. So he knows how to score on them. So I don't know. It's just we got out coached. At the end of the day, at first I was trying to use a few excuses, but at the end of the day, we got out coached and we just straight up lost it. There's no other way around it. And I have team statistics to get into pulled up if you want me to bring up anything.
Yeah, no, I completely totally agree with you, Adam. I think essentially to kind of wrap up, our harping on the coaching staff and everything like that. I agree with you. We need to make better adjustments, and we need to. Yes, it's clear. Now going forward, I don't think the season's over. I mean, as the team is
It ain't.
constructed right now, are we a Super Bowl caliber team the way we are constructed right now on October 13th, 2020? No. But
Well,
in week after the bye week, the final 5 games of the season, we get Richard Sherman back, which is a question mark. We get D Ford back, which honestly I think is a shot in the dark and a prayer at this point. Obviously get Jordan Reed back. There are things to make it be competitive. And this is what I want to see out of the roster this year is I want to see people playing for their freaking jobs. And that's
right.
what it is. I don't give a backup. I don't give a damn who it is. Look, you either want to be on the y'all got to excuse me, just parental advisory, whatever y'all want to say, but we're probably going to cuss a lot in this show. I need people who want to be on the fucking field. Okay? You know what? This is your livelihood. If you're an offensive lineman, you should be embarrassed. Okay? This was the best run team in the freaking league last year. There is no way in hell we should have Laken Tomlinson and Trent Williams, which I'm going to put it more on Laken just because I trust Trent. I trust the quality of player he is. But, I mean, we saw it, right, with Jimmy, the play that Jimmy essentially – he got Lawrence Marshall. The hit that ended Joe's career. Very, very similar to the hit that Jimmy took. When literally you saw Trent Williams go one side, you saw Laken Tomlinson go the other, and you saw their linebacker go right to the area they fled. That's not happening. That's communication. That's not talent. That's not, oh, I'm a backup. That's simply get your head out of your ass, get your head in the game. And I don't blame Trent Williams, who I'm just taking Trent's side on this, believing that Trent's not going to blow too many assignments. I think that Trent is right for chewing out Laken. Anybody who's listened to the show thinks Laken Tomlinson last year was one of the most underrated Niner offensive linemen, one of the most underrated players last year. The man plays every single snap of every single game. Yeah. But he's a disappointment. We need to step up. We need to step up our game.
Brunskill,
because this year, regardless of focusing on players, regardless of focusing on Super Bowl playoffs, whatever, who is going to be a part of this roster next year? You need to show me that you deserve to be a part of what we're still assuming is a Super Bowl championship team, a Super Bowl quality team. That is definitely something that we need to be able to get into. So we lost Adam for a second, but we'll go ahead and get him back on as soon as possible. We apologize for these technical difficulties today. But just to go ahead and wrap up to what we were saying, let us know in your comments what you think and who you're putting this loss on. Let me see. Let's go ahead and go through some of the comments. I wasn't talking about, okay, we got Rolls Royce. The fuck are you talking about? Kittle isn't an alignment. No, of course Kittle isn't an alignment. He's our tight end. But, I said Trent Williams. George Kittle is the best player in the league, or best player on offense. Let's see. Kittle is the best blocking tight end in the league. Meanwhile, the rest of okay. I guess I'm reading into the comments. So we. I love this fan base sometimes. So all the time, I should say. But going forward, before we start talking playoffs, before we start talking Super Bowl, we just need to figure out who's going to be a part of this roster. Obviously we're clearly all upset and embarrassed. But I think to get back onto some positive, things, we need to give props to Jaquiski Tartt. Yes, he gave up that touchdown. Yeah, we got Adam back. Okay, we're going to add him to the stream. Oh, shit. Okay, add to the stream. There we go. Sorry about that, bro. Technical difficulties as always.
Yeah, stupid laptop.
But
So I'm on my phone now. Anyways,
yep.
where are we stand, sir?
But so yeah, I was just getting into the point of kind of focusing on some of the very few positives we had in this game. And of course we know that the touchdown that essentially him and Jimmy Ward, that basically just split him and Jimmy Ward, that was an issue. But overall, I felt Jaquaski Tart had a great game, and he's really been lightweight, low key, really impressing me this year. He stepped up in the Eagles game, and he was very noticeable in the Eagles game. And he kind of made a few plays early in this game when it was still a game that could still have possibly been won.
Right. I mean, at this point too, I guess where I'm really trying to go at, I mean, I feel like things are like at an all-time desperation type of like level right now.
Yes.
And I'm sure we're thinking, to go to your point, as far as people wanting to be on the field and people like needing to almost essentially play slightly hurt. I think we're waiting until it's an absolute do or die. We're like, I mean, God forbid we're like 2-5 or hope 3-5 or something like that. But I think we're waiting till the very last second in terms of people like Sherman, maybe 4. But I'm thinking, like, if it is kind of, it seems like it's getting close to that point where it's like the season might eventually be lost anyways. So it almost feels like, what do we almost have to lose? I do think it might be too early before you say, Sherman, go ahead and go out there. D Ford, I mean, we'll bring you back in a week or two, obviously, Kawan, but
yeah,
I don't know. I guess maybe college, I guess we're thinking like, yeah, it's not time to completely panic, but then it needs to be an all-time sense of urgency. Like, we already knew we were going to get everybody's best, being the post-NFC champions and obviously being X amount of time away from possibly winning that damn Super Bowl. So, and imagine that. We already knew we were going to get people's best, and now we're also wounded animals. So how do you think the opposing team feels? They feel like they're smelling blood, and they're going to they're going to give us our best and probably a little extra to kind of like kill us, put their, you know what I mean?
Let's put it this way. There's a lot of teams. There's a lot of teams that simply want to shut us up. There's a lot of teams that want to prove that last year was a fluke and some things just the ball bounced that way. Speaking of ball bouncing your way, I will say this: the one thing that made me realize, maybe this might not be our day, was that muff punt that literally bounced off the ground. Right to that monster's arms. And I literally just sat there and looked at the screen and I said, that's not lack of effort. That's just simply God. Like, God had to have his hand in that play, because there's no way that ever happens again.
I feel like we needed to deserve one of those, one of those easy ones.
Yeah, exactly. So, going forward, I will say this. I don't think it's time to panic because we have 5 games left in the division. And, when you have both games against the Rams. Go ahead.
I would just say, which is scary to think about. Like, the division games are very tough. I mean, like I said, we've got a brutal 10-game stretch coming up, and I do believe in this team. We can string together 2-3 wins. I don't care if we squeak those ones. I mean, the point would be, and thank God for the extra 7 seed in the playoffs, because that almost feels like it gives us a little extra hope, right? Because if it was 6, I mean, I'd be sweating that much more. So I mean, everyone is worried. You know what I mean? You saw you asked Eric Davis a question, he did a little question and answering. I kind of went through the replies, snooping around, and he thinks it pretty much depends on who we're going to get back from injury as soon as possible. Like, who's the upcoming candidates? But he's pretty much saying, you put a gun to his head. I can already tell from his replies. He doesn't think we're going to make the playoffs, but he's saying there's a chance depending on who we're going to get back from injury very soon. So, yeah.
Look, it's like we said after Bosa's injury. Have our playoffs and Super Bowl chances, let's just leave Super Bowl off the table right now. Have our playoff chances taken a hit? Yes. But is it an absolute over? No. But
no. And I agree.
Our margin for error has disappeared. We need to beat the Rams. We need to beat the Patriots. We need to beat the teams that we're supposed to beat. And
are we getting back
possibly
anybody
pull
from
up some
injury
games.
this week? Sorry to cut you
I'm
off.
sorry?
Are we getting back anybody from injury this week? I haven't thoroughly thought about things.
I haven't heard.
I haven't
heard anything. Yeah, I think Sherman, Kyle Shanahan said last week on his weekly call with KMBR that Sherman had some setbacks, and so it's not expected that Sherman will be back this week.
You know, the Rams obviously, Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and then Van Jefferson are the top 3 wideouts. They're number 4. Forgot his name, but the point is, God, it's not a good week to go, obviously, against the Rams, who still have a relatively strong offense. I mean, let's keep it real. I mean, yeah, they had to switch a couple guys around or whatnot, got rid of Gurley, drafted Cam Akers, traded away Brandon Cooks, drafted Van Jefferson, but they're still a strong offense. So I'm very worried about the Rams just from that aspect too. No pass rush. I mean, I'm not going to say absolutely zero pass rush, no lack of edge rushing help. And guys that can get there kind of quickly in a hurry, and then lack of cornerbacks. Man, that is not a good recipe. That is not a good recipe to kind of go up against the Rams this week, which is why I'm worried. I mean, it's definitely going to have to be a game of we're going to have to freaking take the lead and try to obviously impose our will a little bit, probably from a more of a strength standpoint, because once again, the lack of edge rushing helps. I really do not know when your playoff hopes are, once again, very tight. I mean, I hate to keep beating the dead drum. I don't even care if you bring in Cam Wake. We just need another edge rusher desperately, and I do not know when you're waiting for when your backs seem to are getting closer against the wall. I mean, what are we literally waiting for to possibly bring in help until the season's already lost? Like, I just do not understand the move a little bit, and I'm not saying Clay Matthews is going to save our entire season, but shit, he's going to help. He had 7.5 sacks last season. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm worried. And like you said, at this point, I just hope to sneak in that 7th playoff spot because we've seen wild cards win before. But, yeah, I mean, we're nowhere close to a Super Bowl champion. But at this point, we're just trying to think of squeaking in.
Yeah, exactly. To wrap up on that point is like I told Mrs. Niner Faithful this afternoon is – Our the number one key, and we'll go ahead and get into that more when we do our preview on Friday. But the key this week is blocking number 99. Number 99, as we all know, Aaron Donald can wreck your offensive game plan.
You have to double him.
Yeah, double him. The only chance that the Niners have at this game is to eliminate number 99. Make anybody else. Yes, run right at him, whatever you have to do. I trust Kyle to put in a proper game plan, especially since we're assuming that if Jimmy is able to practice and everything like that, that he'll be better because it was clear Jimmy's ankle wasn't right last week. And so for we'll get into that a little towards the end of the show on my expectations for Jimmy the rest of the year. But it's clear that we need to run the ball. We need to keep their offense off the field. I mean, basic football. And, eliminate number 99 from wrecking our game plan. Anybody else wrecks our game plan, you tip your hat and you say, okay, congratulations. But I'll take that. We cannot let number 99 beat us.
Right. But we saw against the Eagles, Fletcher Cox and Malik Jackson. I think I'm getting the name right. Malik Jackson, former Bronco, former Jaguar. I think that's the name. I felt pretty good about possibly being able to contain them, and I didn't think their edge rushers that help. And we saw they just beat us up inside. So I think once again, and the Rams are strong inside as well. Even though I think they're without Ashawn Robinson, obviously they have Aaron Donald and Michael Brockers. You do have to freaking double Aaron Donald. And you said I trust Kyle Shanahan, and right now I'm not saying it's like Kyle Shanahan is lost and we're gonna have a bad season as much as you're gonna get fired. I'm not gonna go anywhere. You say you trust Kyle Shanahan, but let's keep it real. Let's keep it 100, as we like to say these days. We beat the Giants and the Jets, who are two of essentially, arguably, the worst teams in the NFL. I mean, I know we kind of choked away the games against the Eagles and the Cardinals. We should have easily won those games. And obviously, if we would have lost to the Dolphins this way, at least we would have been like, well, we're 4-1. We got slapped in the mouth pretty damn good. But can we really – and the run was working against the Dolphins. And I guess we kind of fell behind a little bit too much, but it felt like we kind of waited – once again, we went away from the run a little bit too early than we had to, especially when Raheem Mostert was getting big chunks of plays.
Yeah,
So
you
I don't know
know
what
that one.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on with Shanny. I know a lot of it is chest, damn it. But sometimes you just got to keep. If body punching is working, they keep going to the body. For example, like do what's kind of working until you actually have to kind of go away from it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I do believe that Raheem. We went away from the run a little too early. Like I said, we're hopefully trying to get a more professional outlook and can get some press passes because I think we could come up with some better questions that they do in those press conferences. Maybe that's just me being a little bit
I
arrogant.
probably don't want to rub
But
them the wrong way
to go ahead
sometimes
and
too.
wrap it up.
Like they don't want to ask like
Yeah, exactly.
those questions that essentially kind of question their coaching ability. So I think they're trying to stay on their good side, but
exactly.
questions are questions, especially after you won. Don't be like a dick about it, but ask them a straight up question.
That's the one thing, and I know that a lot of people have opinions, but that's the one thing I respect about Grant Cohn. You could say whatever
you want. He's the only one that seems to have the balls to do it.
Yeah. It's the Bay Area media is notoriously soft. We're not the New York media. We're not the Boston media. But I respect Grant Cohn because Grant Cohn is going to ask the question. He's gonna put Kyle on the spot.
Yeah.
And obviously Kyle doesn't like it, but when your dad's Larry Cohn, you can kind of get away with some things and anyway. That's the one thing, regardless of how you feel about his takes or his opinions, i.e. Jimmy or Nick Mullins or whatever, you have to respect the fact that he's going to ask the tough questions. He's going to ask the questions that nobody else will. And you know what? I respect him for that. Now, going forward, as far as Jimmy's concerned, anybody who listens to the show knows that I have faith in number 10. I will call him out. Yeah, that did not look like Jimmy Garoppolo on Sunday. His ankle, we're not using that as an excuse, but it's like I told my boy who's a Raider fan, and oh Lord, there were a couple times that I almost walked out of his house yesterday. They're gonna win the Super Bowl and everything because they beat the Chiefs. But
I was gonna say, they're feeling good.
Oh yeah. It's on cloud nine.
Man. Jeez, about time. I'm happy to see. I don't care if it's the Raiders. I was happy to see somebody fucking, excuse my language, somebody to slap the Chiefs in the mouth a little bit.
Exactly. But so it's like I told him, Jimmy's not right. It's not an excuse or anything like that. But I think we need to change the approach of the season. Not saying that we're not winning the Super Bowl, not saying we're not going to make the playoffs. But this year is, look, I believe in you, Jimmy. Now go show it. I believe in you, Kyle. Now go show it. I believe in you, Sala. Now go show it. I believe in you, Kerry Hyder. Now go show it.
Jimmy looked pretty good when his ankle was hurt against the Jets, which is the funny part. So that's why I'm not really going to give him a pass. It looked like the Dolphins defense and Brian Flores were dialing up the pressure, of course, playing a little bump and run, man to man. You know what I mean? Like and he knew our offensive line has been struggling probably at the same time. But it looked like they kind of had the formula, especially when we got from behind. It looked like every time we were desperate to get something, it just wasn't happening. And it didn't look like, to me, honestly, I didn't see anything. I was like, oh my God, Jimmy looks bad. Like, I was so shocked. Like when CJ came out of the second half, I think Kyle was also now. He's not necessarily questioning people's manhoods, but I think it was, you know what, Jimmy, let's just go ahead and try it out next week. I'm going to put in CJ. I think he was also trying to fire. Like, he's also trying to send the message that like nobody's job is safe, and I don't care how much money you make, Jimmy, and I don't care if I like you as a person, Jimmy. Yeah,
exactly. And he needed to do that. Look, Jimmy needed to get benched for his safety. It was clear that he was not able to protect himself, nor was the offensive line. And you know what? That's okay. You know what? You need to send a message. We don't know what Kyle's like behind closed doors, and I heard he's very brutally honest, and everything like that. So I'm not going to say he was throwing tables and punching holes in walls, but I'm pretty sure he ripped in the team's ass, at halftime.
I feel like
and
that's
he
what
was
Robert
sending him out.
Saleh needs to do.
Yeah, and you know, it's and let's put it this way: as far as defense is concerned, we all know, you know, we love him and everything like that. But I also want to look at Fred Warner, who his play is not questioned. Nobody questions Fred Warner's play. But I want to see, you're the captain of this defense, Fred Warner. You're the middle linebacker wearing the green dot is the quarterback of the defense. I want to see a defense that doesn't quit. I want to see a defense that comes in there down out, down in, and down out, and busts their ass. So,
where's Quan when you need
there's
him?
a lot to look forward to. Quan has a high ankle sprain, so Quan Alexander. Look, Mr. Legendary, everybody who watches the show and listens to me personally, I try not to say great. I try to say legendary. Because to me, what the man did, you know, coming back after 8 weeks of tearing his pec was legendary. And you know what? So if a man can bounce back from that injury, a mere 8 weeks after completing it, and he says legendary, then guess what? I'm going to say legendary. But, you know, I think it's pretty safe to say Quan is probably going to be on another team. So show me what you got. Show your new bosses what you got. This is it's like I tell everybody all the time. Tape is your resume. You know, we when you give this show is our resume. So if Adam or I ever go to ESPN and say, hey, we would like to work as a host, this is what we're going to show them. This is our resume. So we need to put on a great show. So Quan, you know, what you put on film is your resume. And let's be real, Quan's not worth the $15 million we're paying him, you know, but go show that you're a quality linebacker in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
no other way around
it. I think that we've, you know, kind of harped and moaned and you know, groaned a little bit, but you know, we will always look out for reasons for hope. And I think the reason that we hope is, let's be real, even if we finish this season 5-11, we're bringing back the core of a championship quality team next year. So if you give the Niners top 10, a top 15 pick, plus we're getting Nick Bosa, you know, possibly Solomon Thomas, maybe Jordan Reed, you know, we're getting these players back next year, regardless of, there's 11 weeks left in the season, y'all. There's plenty to look forward to. It ain't over until it's over. Before we get out of here, I also want to give a very, very, very special shout out. Today, October 13th, 1962, in Starkville, Mississippi, a goat was born. Happy 58th to, some call him JR, some call him Jerry. Most people just call him the GOAT. I call him my childhood hero. Number 80 in our programs, number 1 in our hearts. Happy birthday, Jerry. Here's to many, 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 many more, sir. The quote I try to live my life by is, today I will do what others won't, so tomorrow I can do what others can't. Thank you, Jerry, for being the motivation that I need in my life to make me think that anything's possible. Because if number 80 can do it, I can do it. So happy birthday, Jerry. We know you like to party, so please be safe. 2020 sucks. We already lost Eddie Van Halen. We already lost Kobe. We don't need to lose any more legends in 2020. Please be safe. Also, one more thing before we get out of here. Lakers. Number 17, baby.
Yeah.
Number 17.
And, I'm already thinking of running it back because, to be honest, I'll be completely honest as a Lakers fan. I think we probably would have won the championship anyways. But I do think the championship is slightly tainted. But at the end of the day, that shit still counts.
Yes.
So what other more motivation do you have to come back and go next year? And I'll just say this too about the 49ers. Hey, just because we kept it real, we got our asses handed to us last week. I don't think we don't need any more motivation than what we have right now. And I think when you're desperate, it's kind of like playing somebody one-on-one, for example. And I always say this example: when you kind of know you're just as good, if not better than the other team, and you're down a little bit, then you start playing your very best. So I do think you're going to see a very motivated and fired up 49ers team. And I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a close game. But if we win it and we go back to 500, at least then we can kind of breathe and kind of hopefully get on a roll again. But this does seem like, and if we do get the victory, I think it's going to be good. And if we lose, then obviously it's going to be do or die almost from that point on.
Yeah. I think that this one is I will circle this. I circle this game right here, right now, and I say, tell me what the 2020 San Francisco 49ers are. Show me what you're made of, because I'm going to be out there giving 149% wherever I'm watching the game at. You know, I know Adam will, I know Mrs. Niner Faithful will, I know Jamie will, and I know Jason will. And I know our listeners, our real loyal, go hard, Mama Debbie, all our real loyal listeners will be going hard 110%, 149% for that team. So show me what you're made out of. Show me what you're made out of this week. And I'm fired up. It's Beat LA week, my favorite week of the year, next to, you know, the team up in the Pacific Northwest. So most definitely. So congratulations, Laker Nation. We did it. Number 17. Let's go for number 18 and be the most, you know, have most championships. This one was for you, Kobe. I hope we made you proud this year. Like he said, we would be champions for not too long, and we'd be laughing in the face of all Warrior fans that came out of nowhere. Because I'm not going to call out any names, but I know quite a few people that are rocking Steph jerseys right now that 2000 through 2003 were mysteriously having Kobe, Derek Fisher, Shaq Daddy, Rick Fox jerseys. So, you know, shout out to my real Laker fans that have been through these last 10 years. We deserve this. Congratulations. And know that I know y'all going crazy in SoCal, and know that we're holding it down in the Bay for Laker Nation. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we end the show with every loss, the San Francisco 49ers don't always lose a game, but whenever we do, we're still the best team in NFL history. Stay faithful, my friends. Make sure to follow Adam on Twitter at 49ers Insiders. Go ahead and follow Niner Faithful Radio on Facebook and Instagram at Niner Faithful Radio, and on Twitter at Niner Faithful R. Please rate, review, and subscribe to not only get Niner Faithful Radio review and preview, but also we like to call it our morning coffee show, Good Morning Niner Empire, done by our own Jamie Sobolski. For Mrs. Niner Faithful, Jamie, Jason, Adam, and myself, we thank you for listening to today's show. Faith, love, and happiness. Go Niners, baby.
All right, so long, everyone.
See you Friday.
Talk to you soon. All right, take care.